People ask me all the time, what's the story about the blue hat? Truth is, it became more than a hat. It became part of the life I rebuilt. My name's Gary Dean. I'm the Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler. Did 34 cruises over 43 months, saw the world by cruise ship. Also drove all 48 states and 10 provinces in that time frame. So did a lot of traveling. So the blue hat. The story. Honestly, I have friends and they message me and they're like, hey, get a new hat, man. You know, you need to change that up. And well, start with my favorite color is blue. So that's why it's blue. And then I bought it because I was on a tour. So I was on my second cruise. I did my first one to Alaska. Second one was Caribbean, going out of Cape Canaveral. And I'm in St. Lucia wearing a baseball hat, and I'm doing a trolley train excursion with NCL to the beach. And me and most of the other guys that are wearing hats, which you should wear in the heat, are having to hold our baseball hats because this train. And also, you know, if you're on boats or any excursion, pretty much you're always, you know, checking your hat. Some guys lose their hats, and there was some people sitting around me that seemed to have figured out that you need a bigger hat to get more sun off your head, and a strap so that you can, you know, tighten it up if you need to, right? Yeah, obviously I don't need to tonight, so, but if you do, then you do. And I think that's making it worse. And so I made note of that. We got to the beach on this trolley train, and I did the beach, and then going back, holding the hat all the way. And I get off this trolley train, and as I'm heading back for the ship, the sellers, luckily, are right out there, and they've got the big, you know, carts, and there's my hat. I look at it, and I'm like, it's blue. It's got the strap. It's got the brim. It even clicks up here if you want to. You know, I don't know what that turns into then, some kind of like Australian hat or something. But anyways, so I bought it. Since my mom wanted me to add, she got some Canada pins, so I put a couple Canada pins on there. I'm Canadian, from Vancouver originally, now retired in Thailand. And so right away I started wearing that blue hat all the time. Just, you know, for keep the sun off my head. I'm getting to the age now where I get the little bald spot up here in the back. Can't really see it unless you're behind me or above me. Or I can't even see it unless I look at photos from somebody else. But if that bald spot gets sunburned, ouch, not good. Doesn't make for a good travel day. So this hat was for that. And then I just kept wearing it, right? Only when I travel though. It's not like, you know, I'm at home, you're going to see me at Tim Hortons or Starbucks or something sitting around in my blue hat. Unless I'm on a tour, right? If I'm traveling there. But at home, I don't wear it unless I'm going out to do videos or whatever. So it just became, and then I was in the NCL group for a while, and that just got too many questions about, you know, oh, what about this? What about that? You know, like, yeah, no, I'm not working for NCL. I'm not getting paid for that. I'm running my businesses, I'm traveling, I've got enough to do, I don't need to be. But while I was in there, they would recognize me because of the hat. They'd be like, oh, are you that guy from Facebook? The Facebook and the NCL group was, I imagine it still is. I think there's a couple of them now though, but yeah, there was a really, really big one. And anyways, yeah, I didn't really have to leave. I chose to leave. There was a guy running it. He wasn't posting a lot of my stuff anymore either. He didn't want selfies in it. And I thought, well, then what's the point of pictures? They could just be from anything. Could be off the internet. Doesn't even mean you're there. So, but anyways, that was kind of my take on it. That's why a lot of my stuff, if you see it, is selfies. It's, I guess now with AI has since come around. I started in 2022. So in the last 3 years, AI is just really everywhere. I use it for thumbnails. I use it for things too. It's very good. But yeah, the blue hat. And then I got some blue hats made. Obviously they don't say St. Lucia on it. They just say blue hat, and they're more buckety. I haven't found one with a strap yet, so I'm going to keep looking before I get a bunch made. But yeah, if ever you decide you wanted a blue hat, you could get one. And then why it stuck. So blue hat, and then my mom kind of, you know, I would talk about, oh, off my bucket list, and I would put a check mark. And my mom would see my posts, and she said, you're the Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler. And that's how the name came, right? I didn't think of it. My mom mentioned it, and I thought, yeah, I can do that, right? So yeah, so that's how that came about. And I said, I've got a lot of light. I'm on the cruise ship right now. I'm trying to do these. We just left Senegal. Came all the way here to see. This is my last cruise, 34th cruise, finishing it now. And this will be, I started October 2022 and I'm finishing May 2026. So 43 months. Took me a little longer than I thought, but it is itineraries and scheduling and whatnot. But to see the whole world by cruise ship, I got her done. I've got to go through Canary Islands and into Spain, and then I get off in London, and that'll be my last cruise. Don't have any more booked and not planning on doing any more. I just wanted to see it once. I live in Thailand. I live where everybody goes for holidays. So I got lots of beaches and sun. I don't need to travel to see them. And it opened my eyes. The world is amazing. And I did my bucket list. Some main ones was, see giraffes walking around in Africa. And I got to do that when I did East Africa cruise. Yeah, get this West Africa one done. Panama Canal, the main ones, right? And then a lot of Europe, the fjords in Norway. And there's a long list of bucket list things I got done. And I got a couple things left, Laos, Cambodia, just because they're so near to me. And then Asia would be done. They're not going to get there by cruise ship. So I got to go fly to those places. That's why they haven't been done yet. And then I'm still looking around. I live in Pattaya right now in Thailand with the Blue Hat. But, it's kind of a big party town, little busy. More than anything is why the crowds is kind of a lot to deal with when you're walking around. So I'm going to try out Hua Hin and Da Nang. I got a couple trips booked to check those out to see if I like those more for retirement. Yeah, and Phuket, I'll go up there. I've been to Phuket before, didn't really like it, kind of crowded too, so it wasn't really my thing. And I don't really I get off in Bangkok, I want to just get in a taxi and go home. I don't want to have to wait around for another flight. If I'm flying from Canada, it's already 16 hours nonstop, 20 some hours if you're going to lay over for a couple hours in Taiwan or somewhere. So yeah, it gets to be a lot. So I just want to get off in Bangkok, so tired, and just want to, shower and rest. So I don't want to fly up to Phuket, and it's a long drive. So from there, so that's where I'm at with that. And then I became the Blue Hat. Right. Once I put it on, I know, hey, you're traveling. That's what you do. I get my selfie stick out. I make sure I got my battery pack so my phone is charged. I got my sunscreen, my rain poncho. I got all that. My knapsack, been around the world with me too. I bought that too, probably on that same second cruise. I right away, I set the goal on the first cruise. I attended a cruise next presentation, and they had See the World by, it wasn't called See the World by cruise ship, but it was that type of a presentation that you could, we go everywhere type thing. And I was looking at it and I thought, wow, yeah, this is a great way to travel. It is, it has to fit your lifestyle, right? Do you want to see places for one day and leave, or do you want to hang out there for a week? That's what you have to decide. I'm a go person. I have no desire I can sit around at home. I don't want to sit at a resort for a week. I don't need downtime like that. So, and if you do, then cruising's a little hectic probably for a person like that. So for me, it's perfect. One day is enough for me to decide if I ever want to go back. And, so far I got a Canadian passport. My country treats me good. It's a great place. And I lived in Philippines for 16 years while I was working. And then I retired to Thailand. So I'm semi-retired. I still have to work. So that's why these videos, I do them ahead of time, upload them, schedule them, and then that frees me up to do my other work. What does the Blue Hat symbolize? Freedom, ability to travel, exploration, put on your hat, time to go see the world. And rebuilding. During this whole phase, I ended a 16-year relationship, and that just, happened due to, getting old and growing apart. The pandemic didn't help that situation at all. We were never married, but together a long, long time. So that was a tough one. So I had to kind of regroup, and then I went through the, stage of dating and trying different things, and that never worked out. So travel's kind of been I have to do this. I've already paid, I booked it. So I need to just suck it up, buttercup, and, I don't really feel like, doing this. I'm not in the mood, and just get on that ship and, start to see it again and keep going. And I did, I never canceled any of the trips. I had Cuba booked. I went there by plane. I went down to Cuba, back and forth to Thailand a couple times to try to clear my head. Just in the end, nothing helped but time, and maybe the travel speeds that up, gives me something else to think about for a few hours a day while I'm on excursion or on the ship. So, yeah, it helped me get through all that, and that took time. And the Blue Hat for me, it's my brand. I'm the Blue Hat Bucket List Traveler, and when I put it on, when I'm wearing it, I'm at work. I know I'm a tourist, but I'm also there to make sure I get good videos. I see a lot of what's going on and record it, and then I come here and I post those videos. I do these kind of videos, and then I also do a report. So last time ChatGPT figured it out, and I haven't, is 70 countries and over 300 cities on the cruise ships. And then plus I drove all 48 states and 10 provinces. So lots of videos and stuff from all that. So lots and lots of videos coming. Just going to do them one at a time. Still trying to figure out how to format the travel ones and make sure that gets across. And these are just more explanation videos to who I am, what it's all about. So yeah, Blue Hat, Bucket List Traveler. Hope you're doing good. And the funny thing, sometimes a simple little thing becomes a part of who you are. Hope you're doing good. Cheers.